Good morning.
Morning.
Are we about ready?
We're ready.
Up to you. You can go ahead and start whenever you'd like. Just come up, introduce yourself, and
Good morning. Thanks for having us here. I'm Cherry Magnet, and I am the community liaison and facilitator for the Harrington Hearts for Community program in Harrington. And I've got Cindy Winnington with me. She is the coach for the Abilene Core Community site. So we are here today together with the programs because there are 2 core community sites in Dickinson County. We're here to share with you today how our work directly supports recovery, stability, and long-term momentum for adults impacted by poverty and addiction in Dickinson County. We did send over some flyers earlier that talk about some of the percentages, what we do, what we cover, and all of that. And so today I wanted to tell you guys a little bit maybe more on, we spoke to you guys last year, and we were able to tell some things on how we help people stay clean and recovery and stuff like that. But we really took the time this year to dig in and look at that. And so that's what you're going to hear from today is really how we're helping people in those areas, okay? So Core Community is a trauma-informed Dignity First adult education program. We work with people who are in survival mode, many of whom are in recovery, suffering in poverty, or rebuilding after years of instability. We don't offer treatment, we offer what comes next. Weekly classes that build emotional stability, support systems, goal setting, financial literacy, and communication connection. A safe, consistent space where participants are seen, heard, and celebrated for every step forward. Clean time is fragile when someone is overwhelmed by debt, isolation, and sometimes shame. That's why we focus on strengthening the 11 key resources of poverty. Those key resources are emotional, mental, spiritual, physical, financial, relationships, support systems, role models, knowledge of hidden rules, language, and motivation persistence. So we define poverty as anywhere someone lacks resources. So we're able, those are the areas that we concentrate on. Research shows that when these resources are strong, relapse risk drops dramatically. People are less likely to return to substance use when they have stable housing and income, they feel emotionally regulated and supported, and have purpose, structure, and community. In CORE, we've seen this firsthand. Of our participants, not one has returned to addiction. Only one person had a brief slip up and he never used it again. That's not luck. That's what happens when tools, support, and dignity surround people.
Good morning. As Charity mentioned, I am the coach here at Abilene. I work directly with the families, not just Monday nights, but I walk alongside them all week through the struggles and wins. One of the most powerful aspects of this program, like she mentioned, has been the consistent community support. From weekly check-ins that keep people connected and accountable to the warm welcome extended not just to the individuals, but to their entire families. We bring a sense of belonging, of being seen and being supported, which has been the key in helping many stay clean and continue to move forward. Harrington has had 62 graduates over a 6-year time. Abilene graduated their first class with 11 and 8 more will graduate in October. Of those participants, 49% have had some type of addiction or lived with a family member that did. Referring to that stuff that you got, there should be a form that says cumulative data at the top. And so we combined the 2 sites. Number of adults moved out of poverty between the 2 were 54. The total debt between the 2 sites were $376,038. And the total increased income between the 2 sites were $844,000. In addition to these wins, we have witnessed a number of participants getting their driver's license, which opens up opportunity for work, school, and independence. We've seen parents reunite with their children after long battles, and some have finally gotten reliable transportation, which makes everyday life more possible, as well as families moving out of hotels into stable housing. These are not just accomplishments, these are signs of strength in our community. These are not stats, they represent real lives, parents, coworkers, neighbors who are now contributing to our community in a powerful way. We do not measure success at CORE by numbers, but by the reunited of families, one last night in a hotel, one more job interview, or one more person just saying, I can do this. Thank you for believing in this work and the people that we serve. There is so much more ahead, but today we're taking a moment to honor how far we came.
We're not, as she was just talking to you, we're not just offering tools to do this stuff. We're building hope. So many people that have had a season or gone through generational poverty or whatever, they don't have hope anymore because life has just beaten them down so many times. And so when they come to our program, we offer these tools and everything, but really what they find is hope. We're not just running a program, we are changing lives. We have brought some of our participants today for you to hear their stories and their journey with Core Community. They walked this path, used our tools, and built momentum. Please welcome April and Angie from Abilene and John from our Harrington program.
Hello, my name is April and I'm going to go first. Again, first of all, good morning, Commissioner. I'm April Rios. I have the privilege to be a part of Abilene Core Community since May of 2025. Thank you for the opportunity to speak before you today. I appreciate your continued service and your commitment to our community, Commissioner. And I'm here to respectfully request your support in securing additional funding for the Abilene Core Community, which has played and continues to play a crucial role in my family's life, as well as in many other Abilene community and many other families in Abilene community. In December of 2023, my husband, Justin Rios, was given an opportunity to transfer to this community from Uvalde, Texas. Shortly after we got here, we found out I was pregnant with our fourth child. Shortly after moving the family to Abilene, my husband was injured at work. He had fallen off his loader into a metal ring of pipe and broke his ankle. He was sent to Salina to undergo surgery right away. Although he was required immediate surgery to repair the injury, we were grateful that the injury was not life-threatening. He was worried to how he was going to provide for his family, as he was the sole provider and had just relocated us all to Abilene. The injury had to have a second surgery. By this time, I was 6.5 months pregnant, and with toddlers and 2 toddlers and a preteen, my husband's recovery was much longer than anticipated, and he was limited to what he could do, relying on me heavily for his daily activities. The injury set our family back. Although he was receiving workers' comp, the income was not near what we were receiving in compensation previous to his injury. So here we were, lost, scared, had no family here. I was beyond stressed, but tried not to show it because I knew my husband was already stressed as well. I ended up in preterm labor and had to have an emergency C-section. I had several medical issues, including organ failure after I gave birth. So I had to stay away from my family a week and a half at a time in the hospital. Fast forward again, and here we were with 4 kids, unsure if his job was even going to keep him here in Abilene or we were going to have to go back to Texas. Well, my husband put his foot forward and got through therapy. 6 months later, he was back at work. We found an apartment at the Sunflower, again, not knowing anything about the place, but we just knew it was all bills paid and we could afford it. It was the worst but best decision I ever made, because we moved there. I met Cindy through the Hope Center, and meeting her was the best thing that I could have ever done at the moment. She invited me to Core. She knew a little bit of my story, and she knew this was a place for me, and boy, was she right. So it all started on a Monday evening. A group of women were brought together, not knowing what we got ourselves into or what to even expect. Just that it was a place of support for people who needed it and felt lost in life, and wanted to make a difference for ourselves and people similar to us. I can sit here and remember trying to think of many ways to get out of it or what I was going to tell Cindy why I couldn't go, but nothing seemed good enough. So I got my kids ready and we got in the car and we went to Core. What happened next has felt like a dream, and I still think I might get woken up from it, and it's all going to go away. Going to that meeting that day was the best decision I could have made for my kids as well as myself. That day I walked in, I honestly connected with these women, some who have become more than just friends but family. It felt like a safe space, and I realized I wasn't alone anymore, and there were others going or feeling the same way I did. Poverty stems from having little to no support. It isn't just financial. It starts from having gone through hardships, not having family around to help in cases with motherhood, or being uneducated or misguided in life. Core teaches us the root causes of poverty, hence Core, right? Anyways, any way that we can better ourselves. I apologize. We are only in the beginning stages of Core program, and I have learned a ton and feel so much more confident to climb out of poverty. There's much more to learn, and I'm sure that will happen as we continue with the program. brings people together to build a village of love, support, encouragement, and reliability, something a lot of us had been missing or needing in our lives. CORE has given me the tools I need to succeed in life and is still showing us the way. In 1 month, my family and I were able to move into a home, which my children have their own room. My husband was able to get a reliable vehicle to get him to and from work. And it was all because of the tools we learned in CORE, and because CORE believes in us and stands with us through our most difficult challenges. They help financially by contributing for our deposit. Being a part of CORE isn't just something we as a group take lightly. As much as the organization has done for us, we try and do back bigger and better. The best way to do so is to be able to get our name out there so people know that there are resources available, and people deserve second chances. Everyone deserves a second chance. Sorry. What this group is all about, we push each other to succeed in every aspect of our lives, and if we can't help, we will find help. And if more people knew about all the support and love that are around the tables, I guarantee you the stadium wouldn't be able to hold our meetings. But in all honesty, none of this good work can be done without funding and donations we receive, which we are truly grateful for. And we as leaders make sure to do our part and spread the word through social platforms. I'm living proof this program works, and I stand behind my CORE family 100%, and I hope you do too.
Hello, I'm Angie Sorrell, and I just want to thank you all for letting us the opportunity to speak with you. I'm just going to read mine because I get a little emotional when I'm advocating for CORE because I love the program so much. So I came across the CORE program by freak accident, and I'm beyond grateful. I went to seek help with resources through the Hope Center, where Cindy let me pour my heart out and mention the CORE community program. It was during the middle of phase 1 when I started attending. When I showed up, I was greeted with nothing but love and smiles. I have learned so much through the program, not just about local resources, but also has taught me ways that I can pour love into other people without spending a dime. The program has opened my eyes to resources and other programs that could highly benefit the African community. When I began giving to CORE, I was struggling to build confidence in myself. Through going to CORE, I feel valued and appreciated, which has helped me tremendously. Not only am I learning and growing as a person, the program allows the opportunity to help others as well. I look forward to Mondays now and know that by the evening time, I will be surrounded by love. I didn't just get involved in a program, I gained a family, and I will forever be grateful for those relationships that I am building. I highly enjoy clapping for others and seeing everyone grow, and the strength people carry is extremely rewarding. I believe that any funding for the CORE community program would be put to good use and help so many people in the Abilene community. Abilene is such an amazing community already, with so many people being willing to help others, and I truly believe that the funds would not be wasted teaching others how to become CORE leaders. To be honest, I love the CORE community so much and spend so much time advocating for the program, but I've been asked if I get paid to advertise. All jokes aside, I am grateful I reached out for resources where Cindy passed on no judgment on why I was in the predicament that I was in, but offered nothing but understanding and love. I am honored to call myself a CORE leader. Thank you so much for the opportunity to address you all, and for calling the Abilene Community CORE. Sorry. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is John Billy. I'm from Cherokee, Kansas. I was originally born in Kansas City, Missouri, right by the Chiefs Stadium. I was born into addiction. My mom and dad were both alcoholics. I came a long ways. When I was 9, my brother put barbed wire around the fence, like deal in the backyard. I ran around the hill, and cut both my eyes open, pull my eyelids down, see my eyeballs, those scars. When I was 11, I got to my father's alcohol, drank a half gallon of rum 151. They found me dead on the front porch, unresponsive. When I was 11 and a half, I got caught stolen car. I went to Juvenile Justice Center. I stayed there for about 6 months. They put me in the McCune Home for Boys. I was there for about a year and a half. Right now, I'm about 13 and a half. They sent me to Nateland. I do all the things I'm supposed to do. I ride the metro to school. They give me tokens to go to school. And then whenever I achieve the right to go home, they told me I cannot go home because my parents no longer had custody of me. So I stayed there for another 4 or 5 months in the halfway house when I ran away. And I ran away back to the neighborhood. Well, the neighborhood was the inner city where there were truly I said I had a lot of friends, but really I didn't. I had a lot of acquaintances with common addiction. If you can relate to that, they were not my friends. They just what I can do to them, what I can get out of them. I'm a very blunt person. Either I say it or I say it all. I don't say nothing at all. So that's my demeanor. So I apologize. This long day, I run for 6, 7 months. They catch me, they send me back to Lakeland. And I'd go to JJT, they send me to Lakeland to the halfway house, and I was gone again. And this happened until I was 18. When I was 18, they released me at Juvenile Justice Center. They released me as an adult. At that time, I was allowed to go back home because when I was going to run, I wouldn't go home because I knew they'd catch me there. My mom had COPD when I made it back home. I got a job installing hard flooring. During the day, I'd come home and take care of my mom because my mom and dad had divorced at the time at 20 years old. My mom died. So now I had to pay for a funeral casket, the plot, the whole 9 yards, which is like $18,000. And that was a lot, but I did that. Maybe I didn't do it the right way, but I did it regardless. After that, I kind of just spun out of control after my mom died. 24 years old. I hydroplaned in my car, drinking and driving. I hit a telephone pole doing 60+ miles an hour with the driver's door, broke both my legs, my shoulder, my ankle. So now I'm mentally, physically, and financially devastated. I lost my car, I lost my house. I have 2 broken legs. I'm homeless in a wheelchair with 2 broken legs. The hospital got me an SSI check. I was like, oh, great, I have help. But in all reality, they gave me $674. And you know how far $674 is when you're homeless. It barely feeds you. So I took that money and I bought dope. I sold dope. That's what I had to do. The struggle is real. The choices are bad, but you got to make the best out of the bad. And so I got in trouble. I had 2 C felonies, 14 years. They gave me probation with a 7 years probation with a 14-year backup. I got another C and a D. So now I'm a 27-year-old in the county jail, facing 24 years. And I held it out. They gave me 7 years. I did 6.5 years on that, from 9/11/07 to 2013 in the Missouri Department of Corrections. I got out. I walked down to probation, and they let me go. And I was off to the runner again. And then I got in trouble again. So at the end of the day, right now I said I have 8 felonies, 3 DWIs, and I was just done. I had nowhere to go, nowhere to turn, no one to help me. And but a girl that I went to school with, she was like, she called my sister. She heard somebody that I got robbed and killed for a large amount of money. So, and I didn't even know it. I was just out running around the world. And my sister got a hold of me, and she was like, or the girl, she found me. She was like, we found you. I was like, well, in order to find somebody first, you must be lost. I didn't even know I was lost. But I was real lost, more lost than I knew I was, really. My sister came down to me. She told me she was like, oh, yeah, I was in Junction City. I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to come get you. And really, she brought me to Harrington, Kansas. Because it was Harrington, Kansas, small town. I was from a big city. So I was like, oh, you tricked me. But anyway, yeah, here I am. And I love the place where I am now. I wouldn't give it away for the world. So at the end of the day, when Kevin came by and see me, he told me about the program. You can ask Kevin. I was real quiet. I was reserved. I wouldn't even talk. I was like, oh, whatever. Yeah, I'll try it.
One word.
Yeah.
45
Yeah, I'll try it.
Sit in his sister's couch and talk with him, and he said one word.
Yeah. So this beginning of this year, this will be my fifth year coming back. I graduated 5-month course. I kept from coming back. Now I'm a friend. But this is where it gets good. With the rubber meets the road, you can say. We have a 98% clean time for everybody that's graduated class and come back. There's only 1 relapse. My brother and sister, my sister and my brother-in-law, they did celebrate recovery at the First Baptist Church, and we no longer do the first Silver Recovery. We come here because this program has the better success rate than Silver Recovery we found. So I'm a friend now. I'm like one of the head guys that will help people. So since I've been to Harrington and Core, I have turned myself in for my felony absconder, walked down my probation, tagged my own place. I have a truck that's paid for. I got my high school diploma. I've had a phone that for, I don't know if it means anything, but I have a phone, same phone number for 3 years. And I have like 5 people that I can call. And if they say they're on their way, they actually come. Yeah. And my brother-in-law who's prison ministry at the Modern Correctional Center. And with that, love you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you guys for sharing your stories. You're amazing. That's why we do what we do. Supporting the core community program, and we serve all of Dickinson County. Since Abilene was able to come on and do their second class, now we've been in for 6 years, and then they saw what we were doing and they're like, hey, let's do this here. And so to be able to work together and cover all of Dickinson County, it's just a really beautiful thing to know that people in our county have this kind of support. The experiences you heard today reflect a broader issue. Many in our program have faced addiction and generational poverty. They didn't just find a class, they discovered the tools, community, and self-belief. They have stayed clean, connected, and are now stepping into leadership roles and inspiring others, as you heard in the story there. While we may not be formally recognized as a recovery program, we are vital to the recovery process. And that's why we're seeking financial support and hoping that there is some money available in the opioid fund for us to be able to put to doing our weekly program. Our program helps individuals maintain sobriety post-treatment. We provide crucial support, especially in our rural area. We offer consistency, dignity, and the tools for lasting success. We aim to build stability from within and strengthen the resources essential for long-term results in a trauma-informed way. Your support is not just about funding a program, it'll be about investing in sustainable recovery and resilience. With your help, we can reach more adults and continue building momentum in Dickinson County. Thank you. Questions?
Well, how much are you requesting?
We would like to request 5,000, and that would be split in half between Harrington and Abilene.
Wonderful. I guess they're not one, they're great, inspiring stories. So I'm trying to find the right word. Very inspiring.
We wouldn't honestly, none of it would be possible without Core. Core is literally like the heart of my family. Without them showing us the tools to get through, even the support and love that we get there. I get the girls texting me, calling me every single day. You know, you might be having a bad day and you get a message. You're loved. I hope you have a great day. How, that changes everything for someone. I mean, we've gone through so much together, all of us, and we've all picked ourselves up out of it.
This isn't just addiction related. It's anybody that happens to fall in bad times. They can reach out to you guys.
Yeah. So the 11 resources, the one flyer there, there's all 11 of our resources. So we cover, what we found, we do cover financial, because when we say poverty, people automatically think financial. But we cover very little financial, because when we work on all those other areas of poverty, the financial part kind of fixes itself. It just comes together. And so other than, helping them learn how to manage their money once they start getting more flowing in than they were used to, that financial part, better opportunities come around when we can cover all these other areas.
I think the partnerships in some of these areas is crucial, and I like the idea that you're covering more than one part of the county.
Mm-hmm.
And I assume if someone happens to live outside of the Harrington city limits or Abilene, they still can
Absolutely.
be part of the program and
City
have the
limits?
support. Yeah.
Yeah, we have people from Chapman and Sullivan Enterprise at our Abilene program.
So the other thing is, because they're amazing stories, and the success rate and so on. But who are some of the other partners or some of your financial resources
Yeah, so.
besides, because you're asking for this money, which is specific for things like this.
Yeah, so we, Harrington, from the very beginning, some of our partnerships have been, the Community Foundation has funded at least anywhere from 10 to 17,000 a year during, the fall funding cycle. I've always applied for, and then they helped get Abilene started and gave them some money this year as well. Locally in Harrington, the Family Resource Exchange, which is like our food bank and our thrift store. We have a partnership with them. They've been giving us 5,000 a year. We work hand in hand with them. The school district, Harrington actually has our weekly classes at Harrington Elementary School. And a lot of the school people are on our advisory board. And so we consider a partnership with them. The rest of the financial stuff for us has been just other grants that have come available. Union Pacific Railroad, we apply for that every year. We have gotten that once over the 6 years. And then just individuals. We go to individuals and we do the same thing we just did here, and we get them backing the support. And so Harrington's budget is around 74,000 a year to run the program, and that includes like 4 part-time employees. Kevin is the coach in Harrington, just like Cindy is in Abilene, and they get paid for 20 hours a week. I'm sure they work much more than that, but they get paid for 20 hours a week to really just walk alongside them, like she said, walking alongside them every day. I'm the community liaison, so my job is to raise awareness and the funding. We have facilitators that facilitate the classes. And then it's, the supplies, just the curriculum. We offer a meal every week and childcare. And so we work with a lot of programs also, I feel like our community reach is huge because we are trying to find, like in Harrington, we try to find an organization to do our meal each week to cut down on funding. And so they're coming in and they're providing the meal for us and interacting and everything. You want to talk about some of the other funding?
Yeah, so like if they're Dickinson County, we go together, like she said, so the foundation, local businesses, insurance, churches. We recently got one from Great Plains Manufacturing, and a lot of that was, we help a lot of their families and was able to do stuff like this to go tell, Russell Stover's, that if they can't give financially, they give in an in-kind way and they donate, like she said, meals. We've had organizations give childcare things because we do a childcare, with the kids every Monday night, but same sort of thing, individuals. And we recently got city funding as well for the program.
Kind of for each of you, how long have you been doing this?
CORE,
Yes.
I'm going in my 2nd year of CORE, born and raised here in Abilene, though.
I helped start I started the Harrington program. I was the first employee during the.
I was the program. That was me 2 years ago.
Yeah, it was the program for a little bit, but we're going on 7 years. We have our 6th class starting this fall, So
John had mentioned 5 years, which that's amazing. Thank you and congratulations. So there's others then that have been a similar length of time?
Yeah, so we have one person in Harrington who's been there the whole time. He's been there. We even awarded him a 5-year certificate. We felt like he earned it.
He earned it. Yes,
He's been there since the very first class. Typically what happens is after a couple of years, people will move on. They're like, oh, we're good. But some people stick with us, which is really important because like John, he's what we call a core friend now, which means every week he comes and does the class, but the first Monday of every month, he gets to sit and co-set with somebody that's newer in the program. And so the first Monday of every month, he's moved up into that. And then the rest of the Mondays, he's just coming and hanging out and doing whatever programming. And so we do see as we start a new class, we've had some fall off. So like in Harrington, we have about 20 to 24 people that come on a weekly basis. That's just individuals. That's not including the families. So we feed about 60 to 65 people a week. In Abilene, they're a little newer right now, but they still had, we graduated.
We graduated 11, and we have people coming from the first phase, now starting the 2nd phase, and we doubled in childcare. So we have a big group as well. We meet at the United Methodist Church in the basement every Monday.
So something I think that's probably important to mention, the fellow that has been been there for 5 years. He's the coach for football team in Harrington. So he gets to learn what to teach the kids and things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. It's,
And I can tell you, these ladies work more than 20 hours. They are always on us to make sure we are on top of our goals. Like they constantly text us to make sure we're okay, if we need anything. I have a million messages from Cindy daily. Accountability.
Well, when you set out to do this work, they think we're helping them, but they help us.
Oh, yeah.
so it's 20 hours a day or 20 hours
20
a
hours a
week?
week. 20 hours a day. 20 hours a week. I want to cheer you from funding us. 20 hours a week. Yeah.
You know, it's, we think of what's going on out there, but we're wondering how it's being handled. And to hear you guys speak today, really strikes home. I tell you, it makes us feel really proud of you. That there are folks out there that can help and are taking the time out of their lives to support other folks that are in need. And we really appreciate that.
I'm from Uvalde, Texas, and we had none of this over there.
Yeah.
I came here and this is just amazing and beautiful. Like me and my family have even talked about making Kansas our home forever. Like our children are succeeding extremely well in school. I mean, we get so much support. There's so many people that actually care that, I mean, they don't even know us and they care. And it's just amazing. Like just to have that love in the community, it just makes you want to give back to the community.
And I'm sure you guys, and you lady here, you talk about people that need us.
Yeah.
And send them all like.
To echo what she said about Dickinson County, we have, so Abilene was like the 17th site to open over the state of Kansas. And every time we go to big conferences and big meetings, they're like, you know, we have the community meal on Monday night, or we have the FRE and the food bank and Kids in Crisis, Junior League, all these resources that, you know, we use in the community. And everyone says that. We do not have all those resources that you guys have. So just echoing that it takes a community to do it.
It does.
April and Angie and John, thank you for sharing such a personal story, but an important one and a real success story. So I enjoy hearing the testimonials from people that have been helped and know it from the beginning to where they're at now. So
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a good day. God bless.
When we have chicken fried steak on Friday today.
Oh, okay. That sounds good. Joe Snuffy has pretty good meals.
Mine will be kind of boring.
Uh-huh.
I was like, you know.
You did the math accounting for them next year.
What's that?
You already did the math.
So we'll discuss
next year.
some of this after we finish with Leah, maybe.
Yeah, we can have her talk, and then it's actually, we provided them $5,000 earlier in the year in January.
Okay. I was gonna ask them, is the request for next year, are they expecting it this?
Yeah, I guess I took it that it was a separate request from the
Okay.
first one.
Okay.
So I'm not sure how that fit in, but that's how I was
Yeah,
expecting.
I think we'll get more into it.
Yeah. Okay. Leah, good morning.
We need lots of bells and whistles, Leah.
Well, one thing, Marcus, have you talked about the opioid settlement that we probably need to visit about?
No, I have not had an opportunity to talk about that yet.
Maybe if the commissioners want to do that.
Yeah, they could sign it.
So there's a new settlement coming that we could sign up for, which I don't know why we wouldn't. But we have this claim that we need to get done by middle of September. So this is the form.
Can you
And
summarize what the settlement is, or?
so it's a McKinney, so they called it the settlement for McKinney. And I don't know, let me see on the paperwork if they talked about that. I think Doug got a copy of that too, right?
Yes.
Oh, sorry, it's not the McKinney one. We received money from the McKinney settlement just the other day. It was like $4,600. This is the Sandoz settlement.
So I think each settlement that comes in, so the opioid fund is just it's settlements that are continued, they're all in litigation right now, working through that process. And as they settle, then those funds are distributed out to all the different organizations that signed on to work with the opioid funding. And so since I think it was probably 3 or 4 years ago that the commission approved to accept the opioid funds. So now as each settlement comes in, we'll receive a different amount. That's why we don't really know what's coming in each year, because it really just depends on what is settled and for how much. And so like in this case, it sounds like we received another one that's going to be about $4,600 coming in. So like some
Counties like Sedgwick, because their size, they'll get a
yeah.
large amount, but so it's proportioned by population and number that signed up.
Yes, so by some sort, and I'm not sure of how they calculated that number for each entity. I do think it came down to population and the number of people who have gone through the system for challenges and issues like that. I think goes into effect for each county and city. But yeah, it's based on our calculation. Obviously, Sedgwick County would get a much larger portion and something like that. And we get smaller.
There's a formula, so we just get what we have to get.
Yeah.
Right. And they did not put an amount in here at this time. I'm sure they'll send it later.
And I don't have a total number of active entities that are accepting these funds, but I know that across the country, it's a significant amount. And so we get our portion, and that's what we work with moving
I
forward.
could give you a copy of the report that I have to do every year. It's either at the end of the year or the beginning that talks about all of the settlement and what we received.
You guys already voted to accept the settlements, and I think it's just formality. We just need to get it signed.
And even
Yes. I believe so.
in this case, I guess another thing we could discuss is, because I don't think it says that it has to be signed by the commission, since the commission approved that we would accept the opioid dollars. As new settlements come in, if you'd like us to just sign those to accept it, because it's really just saying that we will accept the dollars, make sure we don't miss out on additional funding coming down the pipe.
Just need to make sure.
We could do that.
You got the policy.
Fill out the paperwork to receive them.
Okay, yeah, so I think we
Get
could
full authority.
do that, and then even have,
Make sure.
or I could just, we can sign those and make
So-
sure that we receive the additional settlements as they come
I think
in.
just a notification.
You want to formalize that in the
Yes.
meeting?
Yes, you probably do, because this is what can happen in some of these situations is if you don't accept the offer, as if you're going to get something else, you very likely will get nothing or very little from it. And so we've already been through this before about getting in there, accepting the offers, and to get as much as we possibly can from it so we don't get left out.
Okay.
So you'd like us to motion to accept this? Okay.
I think it's the best way to
No,
go.
that's fine.
Mhm.
And Doug, you're the one that initiated this opioid money coming in, right? You're the one, okay, I thought so,
So,
really.
yeah, because we
Yeah,
have
yeah.
a end of September, so I wanted to make sure we got that.
Need to add it to the July meeting.
30th of September.
Yeah, we
Yep,
do.
30th of September.
No.
And
Yeah.
staff's been excellent job. So,
Well,
good job.
So do you want this, so where you move this? The settlement, because this is the settlement that we're signing for.
Early on, Kenny, they
So we can have that.
would send information for the litigation that you could, that money would be there. And then there started to be some attorneys that were following it, and then they would fulfill the paperwork and say, okay, if we get a settlement, if you sign on. And then as it started to grow and get more attention, then the state got involved and said, well, we'll represent all of the cities, or represent all the counties and so on, but you still had to. So anyway, we kind of worked at 2 or 3 different angles just to make sure we were included. And
Gotcha.
Doug
Yeah.
would get the paperwork and review it. And
So I'm going to put on the agenda, accept settlement. Do I need to say who it's from?
We can-
authorize staff to fill out the paperwork for acceptance of the.
And you could possibly even say for settlements moving forward as well, because I think these could continue. I know that there's 3 or 4 pretty large settlements that are going to be coming down the pipeline. And so if we can, Leah gets gets these sent to her directly, then we could get those signed and we just make sure that we don't miss out on any funding. So I think that would make it pretty clean and easy.
Authorize staff to accept settlement agreements from the opioid funds. That'd be-
And I would like to,
Yes.
I mean, still have you keep us, either Janelle or you or Leah, in reports to say, yes, we received another one, just so we can kind of see how that's coming in and the amounts on it. And then we do have the printout too, so.
I think that'd be helpful for you guys too, and for the public to hear the additional settlements that are coming in, and as that number changes, we can keep you updated.
And when I do that end of the year yearly report, I'll send you copies of those or bring those in so you can see what we received during the year, what settlements. Okay.
That's nice.
Okay, well, I always kind of give you an update of where we're at on funds, interest, those kind of things, so I updated all of that.
Thank you.
So up towards the top, those, when it says bank interest, that's just from all our different banking accounts that we've received interest for. The second line is our CDs that have matured now. Just yesterday, I renewed another CD that we had, and so we've got another 64,500 in interest into county general for that. And then our current tax is not as high as last year, but we just got done with a tax foreclosure sale. So we'll be sending out other letters telling them that if they have 20 and 21 delinquent, that can come on the next tax sale. So hopefully we get some of those paid, or they start making arrangements to get them paid so that we don't have those on the tax sale next year. And our bank accounts, the interest rates have stayed about the same from 24. Not a lot of difference of what they're giving us. So, and up towards the right top, that's the interest rate that the state gives us that we have to charge for delinquent taxes. So for 26, it will be, for real estate, will be 13% that we charge, and personal property will be 8%. So that is like the tax collection interest. That's how we justify it, what we charge.
The state sets that amount.
Yes, for every county. So, and right now, our 24 taxes, we're getting kind of towards the end. We're at a little over 2% that's uncollected. So that's very good. And on the second page, we have just our CDs that are out there and what percent. So I've been able to keep them right at the 4%, little 4%, a little higher. And so I always send out, when a CD is ready to renew, I email all the banks and give them that opportunity to give me what rates they can give us. And then I just go with those, the highest one. Sometimes we're moving things. It always seems like there's one bank that's better at giving us higher rates, and then it will turn, you know, so. And I think our tax sale went really good. So we've had a few little issues afterwards, but hopefully nothing big. We've had some people that they bought a track that they thought they were buying another track. I don't know how much plainer we can get it. We're up there on the screen and everything. And then I had a city call that a property sold that they had a demo on, but it was a few years ago. Well, when it's a tax foreclosure, all those old taxes get wiped out. So they wanted to try to retrieve their $10,000. The property bought $5.
Yeah.
I don't think they're gonna get that. But then they were talking about recertifying it. I don't know that can they do that?
Don't think so.
That's what I told her. I said they need to contact their city attorney to talk about that.
Is that in Harrington or?
Yeah, it was in no, it was in Hope. It was in Hope. And they had demoed a house and they thought, well, we demoed it, we'll get our money back. Well, that's not true always. So I said, now, if it would have brought, and then I explained to her, she didn't know that all the taxes were wiped out. I said, that's a tax foreclosure sale. So I said, they always know if they're going up for a tax sale. I said, a lot of cities come in and they purchase those lots and then they can do with it what they want to try to recoup some of their money. So we took care of all that and gave them some information. So hopefully that will help them. So, and our escrow, I have multiple people on our escrow plan. So we have about 75 accounts that automatically pay us every month. And then we have multiple other ones that people either send in checks or they come in and pay. So we have those options for them. So.
Okay, Leah, just for a minute, let's talk a little bit about the motel here, Super 8.
Oh, yes.
And they're wanting to do some things with it. But they can come to you to work out payments and stuff, correct?
Yes, and I did give him the sheet. He sent it back, but he didn't complete the form completely, so I've got to get a hold of him. So he talked about paying $5,000. Now, whether he will want to still do that or how, but all of that money that he pays will first go to the interest that's due before it ever hits the taxes. So, yeah, it's a large amount. And I discussed with him the appraised value on it, and he seemed to be okay with that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I said, well, you can't then protest because there's nothing that you're protesting if the value's correct. So, but yeah, and I've had multiple people start payments when they're behind a number of years, but they get it caught up, and I have some that are now paying for the future years. So they're, it's doable if they stick with it. So, and I do have a new employee starting on Tuesday to fill Tammy's place in my office. And her name's Ashley Ward. She's coming from the school. She was a para. And so she will be doing the counter, which is motor vehicle taxes. Hopefully we can get enough training in before we get hit with our tax time. So. That's about everything in my office. Anybody have any questions?
I think I do. Pretty straightforward.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Just remember, if you ever have any, holler at me.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you, Leah.
Thank you.
Hope you have a good day.
Hi.
You guys have anything to talk about?
Do you want to talk any more about the opioid money?
You want me to review any of the dollars that I kind of,
I did the math on 26. I think you already included the 5.
so that's not this new request, that was the old request. So this would actually be technically, if you were to do another 5, it would be $10,000 that would go to core community
For this year.
2025.
Then we'd be down to 53. Okay.
Yeah. So they did make that $5,000 request earlier in the year, and that was paid out in January.
We're down to 58 because that first 5 is already factored in.
Yeah.
But they want to
I was
split,
looking at
they
20.
want to split the 5.
If we ended up doing,
Between Chapman and Abilene and Harrington, sorry.
That just doesn't go very far, does it?
oh, you're right. I'm sorry. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And they were talking about splitting the 5 between. Harrington.
2,500 each, yes.
Yeah, that doesn't really go very far, does it?
I think one,
It doesn't, but they're also trying to build a budget, and they have
trying to-
other resources right now,
Yeah.
other than,
We'd be, I think, on par
or they
with
come back next year then, which,
the city, I think, and if they gave them 10 grand.
so have you distributed that 5,000 already for, no, you wouldn't.
they received $5,000 in January of this year. They actually had been in front of the commission earlier in the year. It may have been in December that they came, and then it was approved to pay them their request of $5,000 at that time. So they've actually received a $5,000 check in January of 2025.
So you distributed each
and 2,500 to each at that time as well. So this sounds like it'd be the same request, just a second time. I would say we'd have to be a little cautious. It sounds like they have an excellent program. I'm not sure that all of the things they do actually qualify for opioid funding. So we need to make sure that they have a specific request for how they're going to utilize the opioid funds, because just because it's poverty doesn't, it not saying it's not a need, but it doesn't mean that it actually fits into the opioid. Yeah, so if it's coming out of the opioid funds, we'd need them to make a very specific request and show us what that is actually funding, as opposed to if it goes towards the poverty side of the program, that may not actually qualify necessarily for opioid funding. So I think there's some gray area there that I'd want to make sure that we got probably some clarification on before we provided additional funding on that one, based on that request today.
Why can't they be a partnership like you guys do for Tri-County Fair and Central Kansas Food Fair?
Because then we're gonna give it to them out of the general fund.
That'd be general fund.
That's
if we did that.
Yeah, because they don't really, it's not really opioid.
Well, they're dealing with, that's why I asked that question. You're dealing with both addiction and poverty, and she said yes. Obviously, well, one of them, two stories we got, but.
Yeah, so we would.
And if they have someone that's providing the counseling for those with addiction, they wouldn't necessarily have to have a specific.
If it showed that it was, say, one of the part-time employees that provides, I think, counseling for addiction and those things, I think that would qualify them as a opioid fund. I would just probably recommend that they make that request specifically saying that 5,000 or the 2,500 was going to go towards that expense, just so that way we know that is a portion of.
So can they do that in a letter or such, or MOU or something to?
I would think so. I'm sure they would be able to submit a more specific request, and I can help clarify that with them.
I'm looking at Doug. Doug, are you agreeing with what we're saying here? As long as they can prove they're using that for addiction, can we dispense opioid funds? We can't. In other words, if it was for people without addictions, it would not be tailored to that fund. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that.
That would probably be, maybe we ought to request that from and say, hey, can you show us that you're going to use these funds for opioid addiction if you're wanting to pull out of this fund? I assume we did that on the
But
first.
I think we kind of have to coach them a little bit just so they know that we wanted that specific but I think that would be easy to accomplish with their volunteer hours and their.
I think that'd be the best way to do it, because you don't want to lose those resources.
No.
I would assume that finding $2,500 of qualifying expenses from what they do would be probably pretty easy.
I can imagine. Yeah.
I don't think that would be a problem for each entity, so.
I was impressed when I was
too.
to see the folks come in and care, and that's very good.
Well, and they got a program that is working, has been working, it's proven to work, and we're not starting anew. They have a budget, they have staff, to me, that's a solid bet. And use of that money, or at least a good argument for it.
In business for 7 years, and it sounds like Abilene is kind of branching off of their program, and so it sounds like it is a successful program. And the success rate, you don't hear about numbers like that, so that was very shocking number to hear how high their success rate is. I have to learn a little more about their program. I didn't realize that they had a graduation program, which sounded similar to our recovery court. I'm not sure how intensive it is, but it sounds like they have quite a program as well.
Well, he got his GED and the fact that has a place now and a vehicle paid off and
contributing back to the community.
Yeah.
Yep.
Can't do that without resources.
Right. That's right.
While we're on the topic, I did actually receive our invoice from Community Corrections for just one of the invoices that we received throughout the year for the recovery court expenses. And I was going to ask just for some direction on how we would want to pay those. Would we continue to pay that from the general fund, or do you want to look at paying this? This is $5,410.45 and it shows a variety of the expenses that have gone in and a copy of all the invoices that includes for the recovery court. And she just brought that in this week. And I thought, well, since we were already having that discussion, would we want to pay that through the opioid fund or continue to pay that out of the recovery court line item that's in the general fund at this time?
Is the line item recovery court, are we going to use up all that money or cut it real close? Or
We'll actually, so there is a recovery court fund that we received. So when you see on that report that I provide you that in 2022, we received $25,000 or $25,817 in revenue. It's because there was a $25,000 grant provided by the community foundation. There is still a balance remaining of that initial, because we've been, that's where I suppose I'm just looking for a little bit of direction on, because we've been paying a lot of those expenses out of that general fund line item last year. And so there's about $12,000 remaining there. So I don't know if we should just utilize that drug court fund first and that initial contribution from the community foundation, make sure that that's been expensed before we move to the opioid funds. At this time in 2024, we did spend about $30,000 out of the general fund. So basically, that was more property tax funded for the recovery court because we did not utilize any of the opioid funds at that time. And so now I'm looking at 2025, anticipating that we will be utilizing at this time about $37,000 in out of the general fund to fund recovery court after we break even, or after we consider the revenue that will be coming in as well. So at this time, I've been continuing as the attorney fees come in and as the expenses have come in, I've just been paying it out of that general fund line item. I guess I'm looking for some direction on if you'd like me to start utilizing the opioid fund. Obviously, that fund growing and having a larger number has raised some concerns and just brought more entities to the table looking for funding. And so I just am looking for some direction on whether I continue to pay that from the general fund or if we take that from the opioid fund at this time. So
I think we do need to use those opioid funds. Other than with the perception, I mean, back in March, we were discussing it even. And I think we need to show that we're putting them into action, you might say.
Okay.
The math, you said you had 12,000 or so left in the community foundation grant.
Yeah.
So why couldn't we apply that plus you're going to still need another 25 of the opioid funds to fund it for the year? And then we can consider the core community as kind of a separate deal, but same fund.
Correct.
So to me, I think I'd be, if you guys are open to it, I'd be very comfortable motioning today that we just do what I just outlined. Basically apply the 12 we already have, and then the remaining amount will come out of the opioid funds and we take it off the general ledger for the year. And then I think we just bring it up again in 26.
We can show the balances, talk about.
Go through it.
Because there will still be a balance, obviously, and we can kind of see, as we discussed, more settlements are going to be coming in.
Right.
I hear in talking with some of the people that are very involved with the opioid funds that there's some large settlements coming. Until I see those dollars, I just can't count on them. But they're saying that some of the large companies are getting prepared to settle. And so when that happens and we start to see those, there could be an increase in the dollars. I can't tell you what that's going to be yet. So I don't want to count on them. At this point, all I can really count on is those projections that we received from the Sunfire.
I have to agree. We got to account for the 6 inches in front of our face. And I think these two programs are two really good candidates to start. And then I don't know, we can kind of go from there, but that's my inclination.
I'm in agreement with that. And probably Core will be back in December to see us for 2026.
Yeah, it's very possible. So I'll have
So
a
that-
conversation with them about submitting maybe a specific invoice, and then I'll ask them about kind of their frequency on how they anticipate these requests. If it's going to be an annual type of request or something of that nature.
Easier for you to budget then.
Yeah.
And I think too that it need to be, you can convey it to them that, we don't know when this well's going to go dry
Mhm.
or diminish. And so it looks steady right now, but, have to be reassessed.
Yeah,
Annually.
that'd be helpful.
I mean, we'll hope for the best. Yeah. And let's go from there.
Oh,
So we'll add that to the agenda for today also.
Yeah, basically, I'm gonna say authorize, up to $12,000 of the Community Foundation grant for drug court. And fund the remaining costs of drug court out of the opioid fund. Did that cover it?
For 2025, yeah.
Yeah, for 2025, yeah.
I think that sounds good.
That should cover it right now. I don't think we have much else to talk about, so I think we'll take a quick break and come back at 11 a.m. for our regular meeting, unless you guys had anything else. Study session.
Good.
Okay.
Which is a wave.
No, he did it.
Oh.
I should have sold that to you. Yeah, imagine. You know? Should have sold that to you.
That could have worked out perfect.
I haven't told everybody.
I call this meeting to order. If we'd all rise for the flag salute.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Going through the agenda today, we have a few items that were added during the study session. What was on the original agenda was to consider bids for the replacement of the health department roof. We have added to authorize staff to accept settlement agreements for opioid settlement agreements. And we're also adding an authorization for some opioid and drug court funding. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second that motion. Any discussion or additional items? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Moving on to consent agenda. The minutes are provided for you in your packets, Commissioners, of the August 21st meeting. We have payroll this week of $410,175.58, health insurance of $178.85, and abated tax of $908.20.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Moving down to Commissioner comments, committee reports, I'll kick it off for this week. We had a very productive meeting at the EDC executive meeting yesterday. We're also going to have another meeting today to potentially vote on a replacement director for the EDC. I will give you updates on that as that comes available for next week's meeting. And that is all I have to report today. Lynn?
Really don't have anything. It seems like a lot going on, and hope everyone has a safe Labor Day, and great to see school start back up and a lot of activities in energy and excitement throughout the county and all those school districts and families. So, and cool weather.
Yeah.
So, which I have nothing to do with, but I enjoy it.
We will take more of it, right? Thank you. Ron?
Just real quickly, as Lynn said, cool weather and moisture, so we've got to be pretty thankful for that. So that's all I have.
Absolutely. I'll ditto both of those. We'll go ahead and move down to public comments. We'll allow time for public comments. We'll have Marcus Rothschild, Assistant County Administrator, read the rules, please.
Per the Open Meetings Act, KSA 754317 and 754318A, as the elected board, the county commission is not allowed to meet or make any decisions without posting the meeting. They are only allowed to act on items on the agenda which they set. During their regular meeting, the county commission may allow for public comments on items not listed on the approved agenda. It is the discretion of the county commission if they allow comments on agenda items. If you wish to provide comments, please come forward to the podium and state your name and address. If you are online, raise your hand and we will unmute you. State your name and address. Each person may speak for 3 minutes. The allotted time will start after the speaker has given his or her name and address. Public comments shall be addressed to the county commission only and not to the speaker or the audience. Only the county commission will be permitted to ask the speaker questions. The public comment period is not a back and forth discussion with the county commission. You should make your views and input known to them, but it is not a time to ask them questions. You should not expect them to respond to your comments. Comments may express support or agreement with previous speakers, but in the interest of time, please do not repeat the same information. You may state something to the effect of name and address, and I agree with the previous speaker. It is important to maintain a respectful and non-threatening atmosphere for anyone who would like to speak. Please do not engage in actions such as cheering, booing, clapping, insults, threats, etc.
Thank you, Marcus. We'll allow a few moments here if any questions. If anybody has any questions that is watching online. I do not believe we have any comments for today. We'll go ahead and move down to reports from county officers. We'll start with Assistant County Administrator Marcus Rothschild.
Thank you, Commissioners. The county offices, just a reminder, we will be closed Monday, September 1st, 2025 in observance of Labor Day. This week, after the budget was adopted, I am now working on updating the website. So we will have the budget available on our website starting this week, and we'll also provide the budget hearing presentation and slideshow. So that'll be viewable for all of the taxpayers to review. Continuing the discussions with our enterprise fleet management representative, he stopped by last week. We had a nice productive meeting. Then this week, I followed up with some of our department heads, and we are going to move forward to just learn a little bit more about how their program would work and how that could help our fleet to be managed more efficiently and economically in the future. Paint striping that was originally planned for this week was delayed due to the rain. So weather permitting, they will begin striping next week, and that will cover 33 miles of chip seal, 30 miles of asphalt overlay, 2 miles of micro seal, and 30 miles of just restriping. This week, John has had multiple meetings for the Mobile Integrated Health, or the MIH program, community paramedics. And he was able to meet with Dr. Holmes, and he's also had a follow-up meeting in Kansas City with all of the representatives that support that grant. He brought back a agreement that we've provided to Doug right now that will help in setting up how we would receive income and potential funding in the future for that. So we'll continue to keep you updated as more information comes along.
Thank you. Moving down to County Councilor Doug Thompson.
Thank you. We did the Dickinson County tax sale, and I didn't want the invoice to set for the county to be setting any longer than necessary. So the invoice was completed, and it's a total of $8,669.19. That's the cost for the tax sale for that portion of it. And I've left that with Janelle, and I'm sure she'll get back to me. And then we're going to keep moving forward on the tax sales so it gets caught up. And then the second thing is that I visited with the sheriff concerning any items that we may have missed in regards to the sheriff's department with any requirements for medical services for the offenders. There's nothing that's been overlooked. And the sheriff and I had previously visited first day when the first document came in, and that was shortly after he had become the sheriff. And then the second one was about 3 or 4 days later, him and I met, and that's the only issues that we had that were taken care of that were needed to be identified so that there wouldn't be any confusion for the staff at the sheriff's department, and got all of that taken care of. So that's all we have. Thank you. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Doug.
Thank you.
We'll go ahead and move down to notices and communications. County Clerk Jennifer Gayton.
Hello. We have a Dickinson County Recovery Court graduation Wednesday, September 10th, 2025 at 3:30 p.m. at the Dickinson County Courthouse located at 109 East First Street here in Abilene. Also received a public notice regarding a registration for a proposed animal feeding facility in accordance with Kansas Administrative Regulation 28-1661 was for Johnson West, Steve Johnson, 1536 Nail Road, Enterprise, Kansas. And then this will also be displayed on our website and in our hallway monitors if you're interested in reading it.
And I should not mark all things now.
There'll be ways to put any concerns or comments on there as well. That's it for me.
Thank you, Jennifer. We have no introduction or consider resolutions. We do have some other business to get to, though, in the bulk of our agenda today. So the first order of business is to consider bids for the replacement of the health department roof as provided for you guys in our packets here. The first bid we have is from KRH Construction Incorporated. The bid amounts to $51,862.92. There's a array of different activities they're going to do, but to replace or to fix our roof on our health department. We also have another bid come in from Best Roofing and Remodeling for a total of $57,352.23. It would be, I believe, staff recommendation to accept the lower bid from KRH Construction Inc. I'll open it up for discussion.
Where's KRH at? They're from around here.
Yes, so that would be Kalen Howard, and he is here in Abilene. Also, just to touch on that, there was some additional work that was included in his overall bid, but the part that would be covered by the insurance is that tear off of shingles, $51,862. We would also request that if you were to approve KRH's bid, that you'd include the $4,317.50 for the additional work. The health department gables, they have a large vent that was installed originally, and based on the direction and how the wind flows, when we've received snow, it's actually pushed quite a bit of snow, rain, and things of that nature in. And so we've seen some leaking from the roof. So their plan is to take out those vents and then put back in some siding and then install a little bit smaller vents that you would normally see on something of that nature. For some reason, I'm not sure what the plan was on the original design, but they did put in very large vents, and it's just allowing too much moisture in, which is causing issues on the inside. So,
and even without the insurance covering that portions, his total bid is still the low bid.
yes,
On the other hand,
even with the additional work, it was actually still came in lower than the other.
Almost 1,000 lower, just to be exact.
I'll go ahead and make the motion that we accept the bid from KRH Construction, the $51,862.92, and then also the additional work outside, not covered by the insurance claim of $4,317.50 to be done at the health department on the roof repair.
I'll second that motion. Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Moving on to our next agenda item. This one is to authorize administration or staff to accept settlement agreements on opioid settlements that come in. This is a pre-authorization that any sort of opioid settlement agreement that does come in, we're authorizing the administration and the staff that are in to actually accept those, notify us that you've accepted them. And then when we do end up getting some of the money, you would notify us what that balance would end up being as well.
Yeah, correct.
I'll make a motion for that.
Okay.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. That was a quick one. Did you catch all that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. And our last agenda item today is to authorize I believe there's a balance of around $12,000 in our Central Kansas Foundation grant that was granted to us for the purpose of drug court. What we'd like to do is authorize the remaining amount of that grant to be transferred over to the drug court expense. And then we'd also like the remaining cost of drug court to be transferred out of the opioid fund to cover the cost of drug court. 12,000 and some change from the original grant money that we still have. The remaining balance would be transferred and paid for out of the opioid fund.
And that's just for 2025 at this point.
That's-
We'll reconsider that in the future as we review the balance.
You're absolutely right. I forgot to mention that part. Thank you. That would be a motion. I'll go ahead and motion that. So moved.
Second it.
Any more discussion on that matter?
So just going forth, we would reconsider next year and so on, but this also may make it possible for us not to have to budget as much for the recovery court, or maybe offset potential increases so we don't have to take it from the general fund when we're doing the opioid. I mean, so, and I know that depends on how numbers come in and such, but I've had a few people mention to me on our overall budget that they're very appreciative that we've been able to lower the total budget for next year. And then one of the follow-up questions that comes up, I'll have people say, well, is this sustainable? So they don't necessarily want to see a dip and then all of a sudden back up. And, you know, I mean, I think we're committed to try to keep it as level as possible, or, you know, it'd be nice if it could be reduced even next year, but this may help us achieve some of that from a philosophical standpoint.
At least in the short run. I think you're right. I don't think funding drug court, I mean, there's a lot of variables. So I'm looking at Marcus here. If we get more funds, opioid settlement, sure, we'll keep it going. And I think that's at least my idea is let's fund what we can while we can. That's why we don't want to set a policy necessarily and just review it every year and let the commission make that decision at that time and what we think is the best course.
I think that works well, especially since we don't know what those settlement dollars are going to come in each year. I think that gives the commission an opportunity to review that and just see what priorities come in before you. You know, as we obviously hear from different groups, we hear a lot of just highly qualified expenses that are needed throughout the community. And so that gives you a chance each year to reevaluate that. So I think that's a good way to handle those funds.
And when I mentioned drug court, for example, I mean, obviously that's not a huge part of the budget. I mean, that's just, but it just shows how each item in the budget we're kind of looking at and have it under review and saying all that, there still is a high expectation that services remain the same, or so that's a continual challenge. So that's kind of off on a rabbit trail, but it kind of ties in to what we're discussing also.
I think it's worthwhile mentioning, like Lynn said, this may not be a forever solution, but for this year, and at least for the next couple of years, we can relieve a little bit of property tax there with doing this. So kind of add to that. I'll go ahead and call the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. That should give you some direction, Marcus.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There's no other business items to discuss. I would motion to adjourn.
Second.
We are adjourned. Thank you.